Let's hope the bad werewolves calm it down soon, or we're all going to be ahead in the polls. Welcome back to Congresswolf. The last time we left off, a couple of key things had happened. First off, we'd had more contact with the mysterious Jonas, who we now know is a member of F3, the renegade militant werewolves. We have even more reason to suspect that that Congressman Normal actually is a werewolf himself, and we decided to get ourselves some high-caliber silver-jacketed protection, as the game described. So now we're going to see exactly where this goes, because not only are critical points in the campaign coming up, but we're having a lot of life issues. Oh, and I almost forgot, we confessed our feelings to our childhood friend Abby, and we're going to see where that goes. Maggie is the luckiest person in this game. I don't know, Sydney's getting off kind of light, you know, as far as workload, so... But at any rate, the next chapter, Howl at the Moon. You wake up in some town you've already forgotten the name of. You blink blearily at the pictures of sailboats on the walls, trying to remember where you are, but this hotel room has the exact same utterly generic look of the last 2 or 3 or 6. Same forgettable paintings, same inoffensively bland carpet and upholstery, same poofy white duvet on the bed. You suddenly realize you've been in the same hotel for the entire duration of the tour. Aren't you supposed to be going places? The tour seems endless, but it's only halfway done. You're in Fairway Village, you finally remember. Normal has meetings with the local dairy council and the concerned moms of Brown County today. Okay, so we've got cold milk and hot MILFs. Nice. Before you even roll out of bed and stumble toward the hotel room's coffee maker, you grab your tablet to read the latest updates from HQ in your email. Oh my god, that would be an amazing turnabout to this if she was just envisioning the whole thing. It's like she's rocking back and forth in a straitjacket in a padded room and going, poll numbers, can't afford the poll numbers. Let's see. Your first email of the day is from Soon Lee, outlining your fundraising efforts. The news here is mixed. You hit all your budget targets this month, but next month's looking a little shaky. As long as we show strong budget, or strong as long as we show strong fundraising numbers, we will be able to continue with the budget as outlined, Soon Lee writes. However, if fundraising is weaker than expected, we'll need to reconsider our priorities. Rick, you take those conspiracy theories and go sane elsewhere. Okay, well, let's take a look at the spending goals here. Alright. Well, let's see. We've got 15,000 in the bank here. What's Family Guy? Okay, so, pretty much what we could do is put the digital marketing budget back up. Oh, fellow children of the 80s, it's so good to have seen you congregate to this space. Let's see, Precinct Captain Program, we still got that going. We could recruit the volunteers again. I want to work on the polling budget. Your ex forced you to watch Dallas. Okay. Was he like studying J.R. Ewing as a role model or something? And we can see about polling. So pretty much where we are right now, we've got the high dollar donors list. We have the center for the field spending, and we could do a poll, but and Goober Slot, they said they'd give us another quarter. So eventually, yes, they are going to come back for that. In light of everything there, we're going to need money for them eventually. Since we don't really know what the money or the polls are, rather, I'm thinking we might actually want to go ahead and redo the volunteer program. You know, and that way we can get some positive word out on the street and get ahead of what will probably be some terrible things, I'm sure. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so that leaves us with 10 in the bank, and I think that'll work. The Fairway Village stop goes more or less as you planned. Normal mugs cheerfully for the cameras and all the photo ops and handles the Q&A sessions well, mostly. And if you got confused and used the line you made him memorize on the dairy council members instead of on the concerned moms, well, that's probably your fault for feeding him the price of a gallon of milk instead of the price of a loaf of bread or diapers for his folksy family budget reference. Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice for all of us, Goober? After Fairway, you get a much-needed respite. 3 whole days off the tour grind. It doesn't escape your notice that the 3 days normal demanded coincide once again with the full moon. Unfortunately, it doesn't escape the press's notice either, at least not the more scurrilous side of the press. Rita Gonzalez, a writer for the local tabloid The Daily Rap, calls you to address allegations that Normal is a werewolf. Oh, Christ. Here we go. I'm sorry, it's not the first time you've confronted the strange correlation between the lunar cycles and the times Normal just has to spend time with his family, but you're shocked to hear it spoken out loud by someone else. No, we've heard enough of that, Rick. Rita's voice practically purrs at the other end of the phone, because she's a werecat. She was looking for a reaction, and now she's closing in for the kill. I said, Riley, does the Normal campaign have any comment about rumors that the congressman is a werewolf? Change the subject to Good Penny. Threaten her with legal action if she doesn't back off. Offer her money to drop the story, $10,000, which we have. No, Good Penny's the werewolf. Werewolf over there. Okay. Change the subject to Good Penny. Rita, think about this, you say in your most persuasive tones. Do you really think the United States Congressman is secretly grilling Fur and Fangs once a month, technically 3 times, and that he somehow managed to keep it quiet for all this time? Can I quote you on that? Rita asks unfazed. Listen, you say, if you're looking for a nice little scandal, here's a tip. Take a look at Faith Goodpenny's real estate transactions. Trying to throw me off the scent, huh? Rita's words are derisive, but you can hear a note of curiosity under them. What would I be looking for exactly? I think you'll find some very interesting property transfers between Goodpenny and certain members of her family, you hint. Just take a look. Maybe I will, Rita says, and you gloat quietly to yourself. I thought it said you gloat quietly to yourself. Sleepy Goodpenny. Snarly Normal. Your Oppo team has already looked into the transfers, and there's nothing illegal there, but they look funny enough on paper to cause Goodpenny a week of heartburn and bad press. Well, it's always nice talking to you, Rita, you lie. I'm going to have to let you go now, though. I've got a meeting in 5 minutes. Of course, Riley, Rita says. Don't worry about all those silly rumors. I'm sure they'll die down of their own accord. And goodbye, bitch, cunt. You hang up, and drop your mouse. You hang up and heave a sigh of relief. You really dodged a bullet there. The last thing the campaign needs now is distractions, especially if the allegations might turn out to be true. One of these days I'm going to have to buck up and ask Normal about the werewolf thing, though. Yes, the werewolf thing, you know. London or Paris, which was the better one? Not even a question, London. Rita's call will get you thinking. Talk to reporter, and now I'm dodging her. Rita will get distracted by balustrade. Yeah, so now we're gonna go by the unofficial canon that Rita is a werecat. Rita's call gets you thinking. Maybe it's time you started working the press some more in your favor. You've got a binder full of embarrassing stories about Goodpenny, plus a whole stack of charming anecdotes about Normal. Of course, you wouldn't do anything as scurrilous, there's that word again, as the rumor-mongering that Rita was trying to pass off as journalism. But what are all these reporters and bloggers in your address book for if not to pawn a story off on now and again? Sell the press on that time Normal rescued his best friend from drowning as a kid. Point reporters at the disgruntled shareholders of Goodpenny's old company. Flog Sydney's research about Goodpenny's temper in the press. Paint a picture of Normal's campaign as a well-oiled machine. Jiffy Lube? Okay, so, yeah, we're going to start getting into the trenches then. Okay, works for me. Goodpenny's temper. Jude is never going to forgive you when this story hits the papers, and it's definitely going to hit the papers. Well, fuck it, we're not dating them. There's always a certain amount of backbiting and fiefdom building in any campaign, but in the picture you paint for the press, it's practically knives drawn in the hallways, and Goodpenny is right in the middle of it, fanning the flames with outbursts and tantrums. Just last week I heard that their all-staffing meeting ended early because Field and Finance nearly got into a brawl. You say, you don't know if it's true or not, but you definitely heard it, so all's fair, right? Point to the Ukrainians. Yeah, I think the claws are out, too. Everyone loves gossip, and reporters are no exception. You feel a little guilty as you hang up the phone, but you know Jude would do the same to you if the tables were turned. You don't know that. The last big stop on Normal's summer tour is Critterton, which holds the dubious honor of being the 4th largest municipality in his district. Also, its other dubious honor being named Critterton. Since you hit the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the first week of the tour, however, Critterton is your last, best hope to wring some earned media out of your seemingly endless travels. You schedule Normal to unveil his new stump speech, announcing a major new legislative initiative. Then you sit down with Normal to figure out exactly what the initiative is going to be. I'm sure you'll have plenty of thoughts about what my big speech should be about, Normal says. Naturally, you say, I think we need to focus on the economy. Voters are clearly very nervous about it right now. Foreign policy, it's not the top issue, but with everything happening in the world right now, it's where we stand to gain the most. Family values. Voters want a candidate that can relate to, who they know shares their values. Nothing about the werewolves. We are ducking and dodging this one. Okay, the economy. Well, it's a really bull market. That's a broad topic, Normal says. Care to narrow it down a bit? He grins. I mean, I could talk about free trade and the balance of payments, but I don't think that's what you want from me. Remember that big jobs push we were talking about? I think now is the right time. There's no such thing as too friendly with the Chamber of Commerce. I think we should throw business a bone. Okay. The upcoming trade bill has been in the news a lot lately. Let's talk about that. I shouldn't be grumbling and like wah wah wah, you know, when those phrases come up, but it fits. They definitely fit. And hello, DIOT. Okay. All right, Rick, what do you think? Okay, let's see. We are tied. Big jobs push or trade bill? Let's get really topical. Trade bill. Are you sure? Normal gives you a skeptical look. There are some provisions in that bill that several key unions aren't very happy about. That's exactly why we have to get out in front of all that, you say. You're co-sponsoring the bill and there's no way to avoid questions on it. But if we come out swinging and insist that it won't cost jobs and hammer home all the benefits it will bring to the average family, we can start to change the tone of the coverage of the bill. Eventually you convince Normal, and between the two of you, you hammer out what you think is a solid speech. Normal does a credible job of delivering it, getting into the rhythm of the big crowd-pleasing lines and slapping his palm against the podium for emphasis. But it's only a credible performance, not an inspired one, and the applause at the end is more dutiful than thunderous. Still, when Normal finds you backstage afterwards, you don't have to force a smile as you tell him, "Good job, Congressman." You get a milk bone. You're sitting in your final hotel room of the tour when the call comes. You're limp with exhaustion from the non-stop travel, and for a second you stare dumbly at your flashing, vibrating phone, thinking, "Why is it making that sound, and how do I make it stop?" Then you remember that answering it will do the trick, so you do. "Well, Riley," says the person on the other end of the phone, "this is Annalee Chen. I'm Rhonda White's campaign manager." Rhonda White is another representative. Her district is just west of Normal's. You remember Annalee vaguely. You met her at a happy hour for young Democrats, or was it a fundraiser? Yeah, send it to voicemail, why not? "Hi, Annalee," you say. "What can I do for you?" "That's exactly why I'm calling," she says quickly. Look, I hate to admit... I had a thought there, but it just disappeared on me. Look, I hate to admit it, but Rhonda is having a really tough re-election this year. Money is really tight, and we've had to lay off staff, which is making things worse. I talked to Candace, the Democratic whip, and she thought that Normal might be able to help with our fundraising appeals. You don't respond right away. Normal can almost certainly help Rhonda out, but it's a distraction from your own fundraising, and right now you need every dollar you can get. On the other hand, it wouldn't hurt to get on Candace's good side, especially since Normal still owes party dues. Have Normal record an ad for the Congresswoman, ask Normal's big donors to help out, send an email to Normal's list asking for donations. I can't promise Annalee anything. I've got my own campaign to run, and we can't afford distractions. Your ringtone's a dog whistle. There was an old Stephen Wright joke about how we got a car phone answering machine, and the message was, hi, I'm home right now, but if you leave a message, I'll call you again when I'm out. Recording an ad. I tell you what, you say to Annalee, what if I asked Lefty to record a TV ad for Rhonda? To be honest, we're in a tight race ourselves, so I don't want to risk our own fundraising right now, but he's always been popular all over the state. Maybe you can shake loose some donations for you. That would be amazing, Riley. Annalee sounds much more cheerful now. We're still on the air even if we're short on staff. If you cut the ad, we'll get it out there. Normal isn't thrilled about doing the ad. His schedule's pretty tight, and it's a few days before he can get into the TV studio to record it. He hits all his lines, but his delivery is more dutiful than enthusiastic. Annalee keeps you posted on the results of the ad. Donations up slightly, a few near volunteer sign-ups. Respectable, but not amazing. Thanks again for this, Riley, she writes. We've still got a lot of work to do to turn this around, but you really helped us out. I want to take a look at our stats really quick, see where we are. Let's see, leadership 40%, insider 51, spinmeister 52, woman of the people 42, job performance 32, corruption 40. Laxman, Normal, Party, Democratic Party, cash on hand 50,000. Some of this is spent though. Let's see. A few days later, you get an email from Candace, the party whip. I wanted to reach out personally to thank you for helping out with Rhonda White's campaign, Riley, she writes. While the results are less than we might have hoped for, they are more than we could have expected, and the fact that you and Normal tried counts for a lot. I want you to know that your efforts are noticed and will be remembered. Your first week back from the tour is a nightmare of long hours and endless meetings, as you desperately try to catch up while staying on top of all your usual duties. But by Friday at midnight, you can finally see light at the end of the tunnel. It's a train. It's the full moon. It's a wear train. They're kind of corrupt but good at lying about, yeah, politician. You finally light at the end of the tunnel. As you lock up the office to head home, you're bone tired, but despite the cold drizzle coming down outside, you're warm with a sense of accomplishment of finally being back up to speed on everything again. That warm feeling only lasts for a couple of blocks of your walk home, though. Walking past a park, you don't think much of the first bushes that rustle as you pass them, but by the third time you realize with a chill down your back that someone's following you. There's someone walking behind you. Who's there, you call, even though you know there's only one person likely to be following you around. There's no response, not that you really expected one. After a few seconds, you start walking again, and the rustling starts up almost immediately. You start to walk faster, peering down the street through the rain in search of a business of some kind you can duck into. A bar, a convenience store, anything still open at this time of night. I think this is the same thing as we had before. The rustling gets louder. Just then, a break opens up in the clouds ahead, spearing with a shaft of moonlight. You look up and see the full round moon shining down on you from overhead. The rustling behind you becomes a crashing sound, and you spin around just in time to see a full-grown silver-gray wolf spring out of the bushes, headed straight for you. No, it is not. You get an impression of bared fangs and long, sharp claws, but an impression is all you get because you're pelting down the street, running for your life before you have time to think. As you run, you rack your brains trying to think of somewhere safe you can go. Just run. If I can get to somewhere where there's people, he might give up. Hide. If he can't find me, he can't kill me. Bang on doors and try to get someone to help me. Face the wolf head on. Okay, we got 2 face the wolf, 2 bang on doors. Oh boy. Oh man, I gotta decide this. Oh boy, thanks everybody. Okay, what do we do? Bang on doors. Or face the wolf. You know what? I want to see where this goes. I want to see like where this goes if we do actually manage to kill him or what. So we're going to face it head on. That's right. Yeah, fair point. All right, here we go. There's nowhere safe and you're tired of running, tired physically and tired of being the sort of person who runs away. You know your chances of surviving a fight with a full-grown werewolf aren't that great, but neither are your odds of outrunning one. At least this way you can pick the ground you make your last stand on. You spy a blind alley just ahead and turn to dart down it, dodging past piles of trash bags and empty bottles, heading for the back. When you reach the brick wall at the end of the alley, you turn your back to it and face out, waiting for the wolf to come. There's a chunk of broken lumber at your feet. You pick it up, holding it in front of you like a club. When the wolf reaches the alley, he hesitates for a second, head swinging back and forth before his eyes lock on you standing there with your back to the wall. His jaw drops open slightly in a canine grin. You want to say something suitably brave like bring it, but your throat is going so dry that your tongue is sticking to the roof of your mouth. Then you remember the gun. You fumble it out of the holster on your hip where you've been carrying it ever since you bought it. The wolf pats a step closer as you bring it to bear with shaking hands. The shot is deafening in the narrow alley. It goes high over the wolf's head, but it gets his attention. He bares his teeth at you in a defiant snarl, but as you raise the gun again, he turns and lopes away into the night. You collapse against a brick wall, breathing hard. And then you hear sirens in the distance and decide discretion is the better part of valor, especially when one is carrying a gun purchased in a not particularly legal fashion. By the time you finally stumble through the door into your apartment, your legs are shaking so badly that you can barely walk. The mixture of exhaustion, fear, and shock is nearly overwhelming. You want a shower to wash the sweat and stink of terror off your body, but you're not sure you can remain standing that long. Instead, leaning against the wall and holding onto it like a drunk, you shamble your way to the bedroom. You fall onto the bed fully dressed, and sleep overtakes you before you can even pull the blankets over you. It doesn't take long for the nightmares to start. The first few days after the attack passed in a haze, so it's not surprising that you weren't paying a lot of attention to the news. When you come out of it, you notice a lot of headlines about police investigations into Maggie's murder. It's weird that they're bringing Maggie up again now, isn't it? You ask Soon Lee over chat, linking her to the latest article. Was there some break-in case I missed? Was there some break in the case I missed? Hey, did I miss the local break-ins? You know, I really wanted to keep up with those. Was there some break in the case I missed? Sergeant Evans said she'd call me with anything new. Riddler? Soon Lisa sends back, "You know that's not about Maggie, right?" She sends back a different link. You click it. It's an article in the Star dated from the day after you were attacked by the wolf. You feel the blood drain from your face as you read the headline, "Killer Werewolf Strikes Again." Dun dun dun. Sorry, quick sip of beverage here. Two weeks later. Oh, sorry. Next chapter. 2 wolves and a sheep. That sounds like something you do in Settlers of Catan. You know, if you run out of wood. 2 weeks later, not much has changed. The police still haven't arrested anyone for Maggie's murder, and you haven't been able to turn up any leads either. Not that you've had much time for amateur sleuthing, you've got a campaign to run after all. And lately it's been hard to stay focused. You're not sleeping well. You keep having nightmares where you don't manage to escape the wolf in time, where the last thing you see is an open mouthful of sharp, slashing teeth before you wake up and bolt upright, covered in cold sweat. You considered taking some time off to try to get your shit together, but that's impossible. Because after the nightmares, it's all in the bed. You can't even leave the office for 5 minutes to get a latte before someone's calling you about a problem with your pollster, a turf war between regional field directors, or some problem with a software vendor that you don't even begin to understand. Which is why, fresh off another night of nightmares, you're sitting at your desk at just shoot me o'clock in the morning. Nice. So David Spade's show is on. Reading emails about the budget. The budget news is mixed. Although we successfully funded all our prioritized budget items last month, uncertainty remains, Soon Lee writes. Weak fundraising numbers could imperil our ability to fully fund the budget as it is currently constituted. Alright, well, let's see where we are. Okay. Yep, run away from the math. Let's see. Alright, well, I can't cancel that. That's not really going to raise any more money, so let's just stick with where we are. Done with the budget. Gulping more coffee, you turn your attention from the budget to the news of the day. You sort of get an idea, but yeah, not really. It is rather vague about it. You don't want to get caught flat-footed by a press request for comments on a story you haven't heard about. As you swipe from the world section to the politics section, your eyes widen and your opportunity sense goes into overdrive. Opportunity sense is tingling. Yusuf... Wait, Rusev? Is it Rusev Day already? Yusuf, resignation prompts committee shakeup, blares the high line. Phallus Yusuf, the ranking Democratic member on the House Ways and Means Committee, has abruptly announced her resignation due to medical issues. She is also divorcing from Lana. Lana appears to have nuclear heat over this. Since Ways and Means is in charge of taxes and tariffs, it's one of the most powerful and the most prestigious committees in the House. Which means that Yusuf's departure has just triggered a free-for-all as Democratic members scramble to fill her seat, the committee seat of whoever takes her seat, and so on. The three I know for sure are Nirmal, Thomas, and Jonas. Everyone else is either decidedly female or is not referred to by either pronoun and has a unisex name that could go either way, like Riley and Sydney. So, but you know, it is what it is. I think it makes it a little easier to kind of put yourself into this, though. Strictly speaking, Nirmal's campaign staff shouldn't get involved in the official business of the House. There's no question in your mind what you're going to do, though, and that's everything you can to make sure Nirmal gets that seat. You just need to figure out whose arms to twist and what favors to call in. Work the press. No one trying for that seat is as qualified as normal, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows just how unqualified they are. A full press media blitz highlighting all his rivals' worst points should do the trick. Work the press. Normal is the best qualified candidate for that spot, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows it. I'll make sure everyone in the media is talking about why he's the right pick. Normal has powerful supporters with influence inside the Democratic Party. Ask them to back his candidacy for the Ways and Means spot. Start a petition and email Normal's online supporters asking for help. Okay, work the press positively. 2 votes for that. Supporters with influence. Okay, we're going to work the press positively. With just enough lube. You can't pull something like this off with anything so obvious as a press release, but that's okay. You've got other options. A word here, a push from a surrogate there, and everything will fall into place. Everyone you talk to agrees that Normal is a reasonable candidate for the Ways and Means spot. But getting them to say it in public is harder. By the end of the day, you've managed to pull together a halfway decent press push, but it's a far cry from the blitz you'd envisioned. You keep your ear to the ground, but in all the shake-ups around Yusuf's abrupt departure, it's hard to tell exactly where Normal stands. You know who to call to find out the answer, but you keep putting it off because Candace, the party whip, is scary in a way that you just can't describe, and it definitely doesn't help that Normal still owes $50,000 in dues. Presumably. That was in the fan fiction version of this. But if you want to see this committee shake up through to the finish line, you're going to have to talk to her as soon as you can figure out what to say. Remind Candace that Normal has a lot of influential supporters. Trade on your relationship with Candace. You've helped her out in the past. Maybe she can help you out now. Rick. Okay. Quid pro quo. Yeah, why not? That's topical too. You're sent to Candace's voicemail at first. Hi, Candace, you say, trying to keep your tone breezy. It's Riley at the Normal campaign. I'm just calling to check in and see how things are going. I know everything's been crazy with the committee shake-up, and I wanted to see if there's anything I can do to help you out, or to help you make your decision about who to support for the Ways and Means spot. Candace keeps you waiting until nearly the end of the day. Riley, hi, she says. Sorry I didn't get back to you earlier. Everything's crazy around here. I wasn't sure what breezy was, so, you know, I just... Okay, now we're going to comb your hair. Oh, good Lord. I can imagine you say, so about the committee race, she sighs. Look, she says, I think Lefty is a great candidate for the spot, but there are a lot of great candidates. I'm just not sure which way I'm going to jump yet. I'm sure you understand. Of course, you tell her. Although you're ready to scream with frustration as you hang up the phone. You just want to know one way or the other. Well, you want to know a lot of things, but, you know, you can't, get the gumption up to say it. Turn Lefty. Okay, like this. By the way, Candace ends just before hanging up, I wanted to say that I'm pleased with the way you conducted yourself over the issue. I know it's too much to ask you to stay out of house business entirely, but some campaigns would have gone way over the line in supporting their candidate, and I appreciate that you kept things above board. Turn Lefty. Yeah, that would be a good slogan, wouldn't it? Lefty is righty. All your hard work pays off, sort of. Normal doesn't make it onto Ways and Means, but he does score a seat on the Judiciary Committee, which was vacated by the representative who took Phallus Yousef's seat on Ways and Means. You watched the first meeting of Judiciary with Normal on C-SPAN 2, but you skipped the champagne. Well, you know, congressional sloppy seconds, why not? Or judiciary, as it were, whatever. I don't know. In the wake of the committee fight, you're not terribly surprised to receive an email from Divya. Hi, Riley, it reads. What with everything that's been happening today, I thought I'd reach out to you and see how you felt about the ad you're running. In case you're feeling like it's time for a change and enough is enough, I've added some fresh ideas for my team. Keep the same ad, pick a new ad that touts Normal's strengths, pick a new ad that highlights Good Penny's weaknesses, kick his leg out of his leg. Pick a new ad. Okay. Divya has, as always, helpfully grouped her ad videos into positive and negative sections. You start looking over the positive ads. Everyone's Talking is a round of press clips, pundits, news anchors, and other household names all saying good things about Normal. Time to Choose talks about a crisis that befell Normal's business in his previous life. Previous life? Wait a minute, are we saying Normal got reincarnated? And how he let his company out of it by dying and willing money to them. From Our House to the House. It's a very, very, very fine house. Starts off with an adorable clip of Normal's young children playing and ends with Normal explaining that he's running for re-election because he cares about their future. Better Together shows Normal meeting with a series of business interests, making the case that his connections to the business community will bring more jobs and economic developments to his district. He linked the fires. Okay, looks like from our house to the house. Okay. You gotta take care of the pups. You rattle off an email to Divya, letting her know which ad you'd like to switch to. I'll have Sharon get in touch with you about our market targeting and spend numbers. You add, have a great day, and then you hear in the background, Sharon! You glanced down at your phone to see a missed call from Abby. Oh, crap. You haven't exactly been avoiding Abby lately. You just seem to always find a half-dozen other calls you need to make first. Or emails you answer. Or yaks in Tibet you need to groom. Okay, then. Yeah. So, you're also campaigning for Ren and Stimpy, apparently. You always knew that starting a relationship in the middle of the campaign was high risk, especially one with Abby, and you have been under a lot of stress. But just checking out like this isn't the right thing to do. It's time to stop dodging Abby's calls and start talking about how you really feel. You send a text asking Abby to come over to your place that night to talk. I want to spend more time with Abby, but Abby needs to understand that the campaign comes first right now. Having to keep Abby a secret is hard, but it's just the way it has to be right now, and that means fewer options for spending time together. Things are tough right now because I'm so busy, but I wish Abby could see that when the campaign is over, we'll have all the time in the world. Okay. So we got 1 for 3 and 1 for 2. Goberslot, DIOT. Things are tough. Things are tough. Okay. That's nice and all, Riley, Abby says, but it'd be nice if I saw more of you now. You put your arms around her, drawing her close. I wish we saw more of each other, too, you say. It's just, I have so many things I need to stay on top of for this campaign. I'm running on all cylinders from first thing in the morning until late at night as it is. Abby lets you hold her for a second and then pulls away. I don't know what the answer is, she says finally, but I don't think this is it. Oh, no. You manage to change the subject to cheerier topics, and the two of you pass the rest of the evening watching old TV shows and cuddling. You manage to get through the whole night without working, except for once when you sneak off to the bathroom to answer an email without Abby noticing. At the end of the night, Abby turns to you with troubled eyes. Do you think this will all end up being worth it? Us, I mean? I'm not looking for anything more than this. I think this could lead to something deeper. I don't know where this is going. Let's just wait and see. Deeper? Deeper? Thank God somebody voted for something else, because I was afraid of that soundbite getting out. Diote, what do you think? Oh, Diote's taking an absence, okay. Well, then we're going to go with majority. This could lead to something deeper. I think we have at least 3 stratums left to go. Being around you just makes me happy, you say. I know things are really unsettled right now, and I know we haven't been together that long, but I feel really strongly about you, Abby. I think we could really make something out of this. That's so sweet, Riley, Abby says. I think we should wait until the election is over before we make any commitments to each other, though. Of course, you say, although you're secretly a little disappointed. We both need some time to see where this is going. It's going next. A few days later, you're sitting in your office poring over still more spreadsheets when you're... Sorry, I got distracted there. When your phone rings, recognizing Abby's number, you consider letting it go to voicemail, but a little voice in your head tells you that you should pick it up, so you do. What's up, you say? I got a hot tip for you on a story you're going to want to get out in front of, Abby says. But if you want to hear it, I need you to promise to protect my source. He could lose his job if this gets out ahead of time. You feel a smile start to spread across your face. You can always count on Abby to look out for you. Absolutely, you say. What have you got? The police think they know who killed Maggie Ramirez, she says. They've got a warrant for the arrest of that werewolf rights guy. Tim or Tom or something like that, I think his name is. You feel a chill run down your spine. Thomas, you say. Could Thomas really be the killer? Yeah, him, Abby says. I thought you might want to start working on a press release since it's going to go down right outside your front door. According to my tip, they're planning to pick him up while he's protesting outside your office today. Gotta go. You sit and stare at your phone after she hangs up, wondering what you're going to do with the tip. I need to warn Thomas. I don't believe he killed Maggie. Draft a press release in support of the protesters. Even if Thomas was involved in Maggie's death, they had nothing to do with it. Draft a press release condemning the protesters. If they've been harboring a murder in their midst for this long, who knows what else they're capable of. Stay out of it entirely. I don't want to drag the campaign into a mess like that either way. Presumably, but I don't know if they ever got any identifying DNA or pictures or anything. I think they're picking him because, hey, werewolf, and we know where he is. I don't think we ever found out. I don't think we've ever seen him in wolf form. Or if they have a picture of him. We didn't report that, though. Okay, looks like Diode is not back yet, so looks like we're going to warn Thomas. Okay. You promised Abby you'd keep her tip a secret, but that doesn't extend to giving Thomas a heads up, you rationalize. It's not like you're going to tell him where you got the info. You hurry outside, noticing thankfully that the police haven't arrived yet, and pull Thomas aside. They think you killed Maggie, you tell him quietly, quickly filling him in on the warrant. I know you couldn't have done it. You need to get out of here. Thomas looks uncertain. If I run, they'll be even more sure it's me, he says. If you don't, you're going to get railroaded, you say. The cops aren't interested in finding out who really did it. They're interested in closing the case. And if that means you get the death penalty for a crime you didn't commit, they're not going to shed many tears over it. It takes some doing, but you manage to persuade him to leave. He's barely out of sight when the police show up, but by then you've gone back to your spreadsheets, and the other protesters deny seeing Thomas at all that day. Which I'm sure makes it a lot better in their perspective. A few hours later, you receive an email from Abby with the subject line, "What you did." You take a deep breath and brace yourself before opening it. Scathing doesn't begin to describe it. Complete betrayal of my trust. Never thought you would lie to me like that. And I can't stand the thought of talking to you right now, so don't call me, are key quotes. Well, boy. Thomas, you still available? Your heart sinks into your stomach as you read the email. You knew what you were risking in warning Thomas, but seeing it in black and white like that is another thing altogether. Well, I'm sorry, Rick, but you got outvoted. You don't bother trying to ask Abby about the status of your relationship. Why would you? I think you can pretty figure it out. Everything about the email, what she said, how she said it, lets you know that it's over. A few days later, a text from an unfamiliar number pops up on your phone. It's a picture of Jonas. If I have to be a fugitive, at least I'll put it to good use. It's captioned. Stay safe, you text back. Or at least you try to, but invalid number is the message you get back almost immediately. I think Thomas was using Jonas's burner phone, if I remember right. Okay, yeah, I think that's the case. Alright, and apparently next time we're going to learn some new tricks, so, yeah. We've, good thing we had that gun, but, terrible thing we did to Abby, and we're going to be alone and miserable for the rest of our lives. I think our only hope now is that we actually get into a relationship with a werewolf, and like wolves, they mate for life. But we're going to have to see that on the next round of Congresswolf. So in the meantime, you all be safe. Y'all keep an eye out for the full moon. Until we game again.